This week at Shanesmithlaw on our client victories, we're talking about our client who hit somebody who pulled right out in front of them, injured her back and neck, and she ultimately needed injections and had a herniated disc. Welcome to this week's client victory here at Shanesmithlaw. I'm Shane Smith, and I'm here with Tim Lewis, one of our attorneys here. And we're going to discuss one of his most recent client victories where he represented our client HB. Tim, tell us about this case and what went on.
HB was a young lady, 27 years old, who was driving down the street and another vehicle failed to yield, turned out right in front of her. A collision occurred. She sustained really serious injuries to her cervical spine, which is her neck, and her lumbar spine, her lower back.
And when we say failure to yield, what's that mean in regular terms? What is that? Somebody just pulls out in front of you?
Somebody just pulled out in front of her. This person was coming out of a parking lot, trying to turn right, and they turned right out in front of her. And unfortunately, the collision occurred.
All right, so our client ended up actually hitting her, but it's because the bad guy basically pulled out in front of her and she just hit the back of their car or the side.
Right, she hit him on the side, exactly.
And you said she hurt her neck. How bad was she hurt?
She had severe pain radiating down into her shoulders. She had to have 2 sets of injections, epidural injections in her neck. And she also had pain in her lower back radiating down into her legs. So she needed injections in her lower back as well.
Okay. I mean, both 2 serious injuries. The radiating pain is always serious and concerning. Right. Were they able to get her pain under control?
The injections helped tremendously. She saw a decrease in her pain levels go all the way down to 0 after the second set of injections. She had injections in May, and then she had to have another set of injections again in July in her neck. After the second set, she saw relief. Only 1 set to get pain level to 0 in her lower back.
Okay, that's great. And how did the insurance company deal with this when you presented your demand to them?
They tendered the policy limits immediately. Not much negotiation. This was a straightforward case. The injuries were real, severe. The MRI supported it. They tendered the policy limits and the bodily injury and the uninsured motorist policy limits.
Great work. So that means we got all the money that was available for this particular client.
Exactly.
All right. What's something you learned from this case that you could take with you on some other cases?
Just the treatment path for the client. The client was really amenable to staying with our advice and staying with the doctor's recommendations to get all the treatments necessary. And so that's really what it is, just to stress the treatment and the importance of it. And this case worked out very well that way.
Okay. And you said this particular client did basically the treatment the doctors recommended, managed to get her pain under control. And then you also got a great settlement for her at the end of the case.
Absolutely. She did everything we needed and asked her to do.
All right. Well, hey, I'm Shane from Shanesmithlaw. I want to thank our listeners for checking in on this week's client victory. Remember, if you're in pain, call Shane 980-999-9999, or you can order our free book, The Victim Survivor Guide to Car Accidents, at shanesmithlaw.com. We'll be going over another case next week, so hit like and subscribe. See you then.
980-999-9999. 980-999-9999. Shanesmithlaw. In pain, call Shane.